We have some spicy Destiny drama that we have to cover. This bit of drama blew up today, of course, on the platform Twitter, or as it's better known now, X. But before we jump into it, I have to give you a little bit of a disclaimer. I'm an idiot on this topic. I don't really know exactly what I'm talking about here, so if I say something ridiculously stupid or offensive, you gotta give me a little bit of grace here. I'm just simply trying to cover the news. So here it is, the tweet or the X post, the Z from the official Bungie account saying, being Latin AEOX is more than just a location on a map, just as being Hispanic is more than the language we might speak. They then go on to say, we are proud to introduce our newest idea, Latin at Bungie, which if you don't know, Bungie has various different inclusivity and diversity programs at Bungie for various different groups, and this is now their newest one. And upon initial review, you might not think there's anything controversial being said here, but apparently a lot of people are upset with the term Latinx, and after doing a little bit of research, I googled it for about 10 minutes, I looked into this a little bit deeper and realized why that is. Basically, a lot of Hispanic people don't like this term because it's an English term being introduced into Spanish, so it doesn't really make much sense when speaking it. I'm no expert in Spanish, but I did take it for 2 years in high school and learned how to ask where the bathroom is, donde está el baño, and from that alone I can understand why saying Latinx would be kind of complicated. Like if you were speaking in Spanish and saying like, hey, there's a group of Latinos over there, like, but you're speaking it in Spanish, you'd be like, hey, there's a group of Latinxes over there. Just like it's hard to say X on Twitter, right? Like we used to say Twitter and now we say X because they rebranded the platform. It's hard to explain what you're doing on Twitter now. Like usually you would post something and that's tweet, and now you're just posting or zeeting. So a lot of people in the Hispanic community don't actually like the term Latinx, they don't accept it, and so they went into the replies of this post expressing their severe distaste for it, and a lot of those replies were hidden by the Bungie account. Some of these hidden replies read, yeah, it's Latino or Latina, which literally got 1,700 likes, almost more than the original post from Bungie, so I think a lot of people were agreeing with that. There are a lot of trolls on X, but I don't know if it's fair to characterize every single person that disagrees with this as a troll. I think there's a lot of people that genuinely just dislike this term, which to be fair, if you're being bigoted, of course you're gonna have your replies hidden, but the criticism that a lot of people gave is that not everyone was being bigoted here, and it would seem as though, I mean, I'm not an expert here, again, it would seem as though the majority of people from the Hispanic community don't like this term, so using it in a post to promote Hispanic culture comes across the wrong way, and that's the reason for the controversy. And just as a side note, whoever put the exotic chancla as a reply, I have to admit I laughed. This was just funny. I cannot, for legal reasons, admit that I laughed at this post. But the chancla did have rangefinder and wolfpack rounds with a magazine of 2 and an absolutely busted impact stat, and that's all I'm going to say about that. It's a bit of a tough situation to talk about this topic though, because obviously Bungie meant well with this post. They weren't posting this in any way to demean or demoralize Hispanic people. They're trying to do quite literally the opposite, but unfortunately it had an adverse effect, and I want to know what you think down in the comments below, especially if you're from the Hispanic community. Do you think that the majority of the criticism, backlash, and hate is just from Twitter trolls, or do you think that there's genuine reason to dislike this term Latinx? I'm not from the Hispanic community, so I'm going to reserve my judgment and instead just bring you the news and let you decipher for yourself. I will say that there was enough backlash though, and from people who are very credible content creators and well-known figures in the community, that I honestly think Bungie might end up going back on this one, potentially changing the post or creating an apology, because this one really seemed to rub people the wrong way. And just as I'm in the middle of recording this video, I was actually sent this image here, which is a proposed community notes reply to this post, which would be absolutely wild. This would be the first time we've ever seen Bungie get community notes by Twitter, or I guess I should call them X. And if you don't know what a community notes is or why this is relevant, it's basically Twitter's way of combating misinformation on their platform. But again, this has not been finalized for this post. It's only in its proposed state right now, but let's read what it says. Latinx is only used by descendants of Latino migrants in the USA, but they do not share cultural, language, locality, or history with Latinos appropriating the culture. Latinos do not like the term Latinx because it is imposed by the USA to define them. So that's a pretty spicy reply right there. That would be the first time Bungie has ever been community notes by X, if this proposed reply does go live, of course. Which, of course, if it does go live, I feel like that does incentivize Bungie to probably make a follow-up post trying to clear the air a little bit. Again, as I mentioned before, I do think that Bungie's intentions were purely good here, but this has just turned into an absolute absolutely wild controversy. I did not expect this to be as big as it has now become, and we'll certainly be bringing you updates on it as we get more information. I'll be reading your thoughts down in the comments below and try to keep them respectful, of course. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, smash the like button, and click on the screen here to watch another video from the channel. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Later.